Hey friends, welcome to the Raising Boys and Girls podcast. I'm Sissy Goff.
And I'm David Thomas.
And I'm Melissa Trevathan.
And we're so glad you've joined us for this conversation. Let's dive in. Gilkeson is an author, performer, and speaker with a sharp wit and an imaginative flair. She traveled the world playing music and sharing stories with the band Wren Collective for 12 years, performing to millions. Allie grew up in Northern Ireland and has always been obsessed with writing stories and performing plays, especially ones with that classic Irish wit, ones that make you laugh hard but then challenge you to reach for something more. Allie's debut kids book, My Lighthouse, was inspired by the platinum-selling song released from Wren Collective in 2014.
That also happens to be one of our Hopetown favorites.
Yes, it does. A story that would connect the family and encourage and challenge children to think beyond themselves. Allie currently lives in Nashville, Tennessee with her family and is the kind of woman who makes jokes that most people don't expect, tells captivating stories like you're around the campfire, and is deeply passionate about raising good humans.
We're so grateful for you being here and so excited about what you're doing and have been huge fans and didn't know you before. So it's very fun to meet you in person.
Well, thank you so much for having me. This is so beautiful. It's lovely to be here.
Well, thank you.
We're happy you're here. And we'd love to start out. Just tell us a little bit about your story, where you grew up and about your family.
Yes. So as you can tell by my accent, I'm not from Tennessee or Mississippi.
It's beautiful.
So I grew up in Northern Ireland, a little town called Carrickfergus, which has the biggest castle you could possibly imagine that's still there.
Wow.
And it's right on the coast, it's really near Belfast, so the capital. And that's where I grew up with my family, my parents. We grew up in the church, and I have two older brothers. And yeah, life was just really, you realize how simple life was back in Ireland. Everything was green. You played in fields or by the water, and a big activity was skimming rocks. It was very exciting. We didn't have Six Flags. We had stone flags. And so, yeah, that's where I grew up. And that's where I met my husband. And then we moved to the States really about 9 years ago. We've kind of like made the move over here because we were just spending so much more of our time here. So, but we still go back a lot, and my whole family's there, the grandparents and the brothers and the aunts and the uncles. So we go back a lot.
Will you take us with you?
Yes, anytime.
We'd love to figure out how to get a speaking gig in Ireland.
Oh, yes. You just show up. They'll let you talk. They'll hear your accent and be like, oh, they obviously know what they're talking about.
So sweet. Well, so at Daystar, I don't know how much you know about what we do, but counseling during the year, counseling year round. And then in the summers, we have a little summer retreat program for the kids in counseling called Hopetown.
I love that.
Which is a really sweet place. And I fumblingly lead worship at Hopetown. I'm terrible. But one of our songs that we sing, I was going to say every day, almost every day, is My Lighthouse.
That's so great.
Did I say that right? Is it Lighthouse or My Lighthouse? Okay.
My Lighthouse.
My Lighthouse.
Yeah.
And we have motions to it.
Of course,
which
you
I
have
won't
to
show you. But
yes, please, you sure?
No, I will not. But we made up motions, and I think my cool factor with the Hopetown kids is just going to explode from having a conversation with you.
Oh yes,
and it was so fun to do some research on you and see you have so many roles in life. Currently, you have your hand in so many places,
so many roles, so many personalities, so many emotions.
Yeah, so we can talk about this. So one of them is that you have been a part of Wren Collective, as your husband has as well. Will you talk about that? Will you talk about how you found your way to music in general?
Absolutely.
And then we'll get to the writing.
Yes. So when I met Gareth, Wren Collective was just at the very beginning. So what had happened was he had started basically a college church movement for people in their 20s and 30s that maybe felt a little bit burnt by church or felt a little bit of an outsider. And so we had stripped everything away and we met just in a sports hall and just tried to meet with Jesus and be like, let's just create the most authentic community that we can that's really seeking after what the gospel's all about. And so that's really where Wren Collective was birthed. Chris would have led worship at that. And then we just started deciding, let's start writing songs for our community. And that was Rent Collective was birthed out of that.
Wow.
And I remember when I met Gareth, he was like, no, I really want to go on a bit of an adventure. Like, how do you feel about that? And I'm like, let's go, let's do it. And Rent Collective was born, and we've just been on this crazy journey. We started touring in the UK and around Europe a lot, and then we really had prayed about coming to the States, but it was like, oh, it's so big, and everyone's it's all over the place. We just didn't really know about it, and within about 2 weeks of praying about it, we got an email from Mr. Christopher Tomlin saying, would you come on a national tour with me and Louis Giglio?
Wow.
Goodness.
And so we told him we'd think about it. No, we were like, yes, amazing.
Wow.
And that was really, what introduced us to the States, and we started touring and just never stopped.
And what year was that?
That was in 2010. So we got married in 2009, and then that tour happened in 2010, and then we were pretty much a touring family ever since.
Wow.
It's been busy. All go.
Yes.
fun.
And thinking about that journey from then till now, do you have a favorite song that you've ever been a part of?
Oh, of course. I mean, My Lighthouse has to be just so many highlights for me because, well, first of all, when Gareth kind of came up with the idea, he brought it to me, and I was like, oh, it's a little bit cheesy. I don't think that'll work. And then, how God just takes something and goes, well, wait to see what I can do with this.
Yes.
And so for me, that song has been such a big part of our lives because we have seen it connect with kids from the age of 6 months to people, in their 80s and 90s, singing it to people in prisons, to kids in schools. And it really has reached such a huge spectrum of people. And I just love that whole age range and that whole demographic can just really connect with it. And and every time we play it, we play those first few chords, you'll know it this summer, and everyone knows it straight away. And you're like,
of course.
it's the chord of C. Ooh. But
I can play it. That's why. Yeah.
But, everyone instantly connects with it. And all of that, even with the actions and all of that stuff. It's a lot of fun. I love it. Yeah, it's been really fun.
Well, and you may have already said, you probably have had several at this point, but is there a career highlight that you could point to?
Yes, I think for me, oh gosh, there's been so many. I mean, getting to play in real iconic venues is huge, like Madison Square Gardens and Red Rocks and things like that.
Wow.
But honestly, I think a highlight that was like really got my heart and soul just pounding was we have an arena in Belfast, and we were the first Christian band to sell out the arena.
Were you really?
And
That's
it was
so
just
cool,
it was
Allie.
so amazing to have. I mean, Northern Ireland's a very small country, and to have such a small country and everyone gathered and be like, we did it, like here we are. And it's funny, every time we go back to Northern Ireland for the first good few years, everyone's kind of a bit suspicious, like, have you changed? Because you now spend a lot of your time in America. How different are you? Like, they're trying to work out, should they still like you or not? And then once you start playing, they realize, oh, these are our people, know, and to give our nation and our country just a real time stamp in the timeline was really special. And just to be on that stage and see the whole arena full, all worshiping God with songs that we had written in our living room, it was like,
wow,
it's really powerful. So
Yes.
that's been my number one highlight for sure.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. And you can see it's on YouTube somewhere, I'm sure.
I'd love to watch.
You can go on and watch it and just see the joy in people's faces. It's so great. I love it.
Okay, along this journey, you've started Wren Collective Kids, this project we're super excited about.
Yes.
So songs for kids 13 and under to sing and find hope in. Will you talk a little bit about that project, how it started?
Absolutely. So Randco Kids really started because I have 3 children. I have a 10-year-old boy, a 7-year-old boy, and a 6-year-old girl. And I was so sick of Baby Shark. Or The Greatest
Blippi.
Showman.
Yes.
And, because when you're a parent, you are looking for content for your children. You're looking for something that will be encouraging. It's not, that's going to bring them life, but also maybe make them think about things or ask questions, but it's also something you can enjoy. And so that was really the heart behind Raincoat Kids. It was what we were trying to do was what Pixar did with kids' movies. They wanted to create movies that brought the family together, that kids and adults could enjoy together. And that's what we wanted to do with music, of going, let's create an album that when the kids ask for it in the car, you're not like, no, not again. But it was songs that the whole family could connect with. And it was a real fun project because, certain restrictions that you have with maybe worship albums or, mainstream albums, you don't have those restrictions with kids' albums. You're like, get out the weirdest instrument you can and let's play it and let's put in this like weird sound and this weird melody. And it was just a real creative freedom. And we just had the biggest fun. And then doing the music videos, we wanted to create, again, content for parents to be like, here's some music videos you can watch with songs that are good words, strong words that are directly taken from the Bible, that are going to just really empower your kids. And just, you could, so that you can be like complete trust in what your kids are listening to, what they're watching, because kids they repeat what they hear all the time. That's what we know. It's particularly with songs. My kids will sing a full song and I'm going, how do you know that? They hear it over and over. And we're like, let's make those words be truth. Make those words be encouraging. Make those words really resonate in them, that they can start really knowing who they are. And so, we just created this project, and hopefully more will come as we keep going. And actually, one of the music videos, it was funny. We're all on these, those scooters that go around town that you're scared of hitting all the time. We had to go and collect them, and we were going to do a whole music video on these scooters, but mine broke and like went down a little ditch, and I fell off on the road and got this huge gash in my knee, and the car's like broke and got out, and I felt like, a 7-year-old child. We're like, oh, my knee. But then had to continue to do the music video, so I was just like in shell shock. Like the director's like, could we see a smile? I'm like, no. I'm concentrating.
That makes me really want to watch that one.
You should see it. It's really fun. It's been, but really fun times.
Yes. Well, and that leads to the newest project, which we're so excited about, a book based on My Lighthouse.
Yes.
Will you talk about what inspired the idea, what you hope kids and families together, because I'm sure it's for both, are hoping to gain?
Books are in my house, I say my house, on the road a lot. I always call it bus school or bus home. But books were such a big part of our lives because they're always accessible. When we went to city after city, town after town, one of the major things we could do with the kids is let's go to the local library, and I always loved that moment in the day where you can sit down, gather together, you're close to your kids, and nothing else matters but this story that you're reading. And you get to watch their imagination begin to run wild and free as they picture it and they ask questions about it. And I just always really treasured those little moments with them, and always made time for it. Even still now, my 10-year-old will be like, "Oh, what book are we doing tonight?"
Oh, wow!
I'm like, my book.
Yes.
And so. Well, again, it's the same sort of idea. There's sometimes your kids go and they pick the book from the shelf and you're like, oh, not that one, not that one, not that one. Or they pick, the massive book and you're going, oh, we're going to do part of this book. So, and I had seen how My Lighthouse had connected with such a wide range of kids, particularly in the UK. We have assemblies most days in the UK where all the kids gather and they would be singing My Lighthouse, and we would get these videos in. And I was like, wouldn't it be so great if there was just something physical, like a story that would sort of encapture the heart behind the song? And I decided to write a book that again, parents and kids could enjoy together. So there's little, bits of humor for parents that maybe the kids won't get the jokes. And the artwork is so beautiful. And every time you open a page, I feel like, oh, you could put that on your wall. Or, but also just a story that is not so I wouldn't say it's like just purely for the church. So I wanted to write a story that you could read it anywhere and everyone could connect with it and really open up those conversations to, you know, what does a lighthouse mean? Who represents a lighthouse in your life? And that there is a light that is constantly shining, trying to guide you home. And it doesn't go out and it's always there. It's just up to you if you decide to follow it or not, you know? And
That's
so,
beautiful.
yeah, it's a fun wee story about a little boy called Finn who lives in a lighthouse and hates it because everything's round and sets off on an adventure and his wee rowboat but gets lost in the dark and it's his home that guides him home. So yeah, it's so good and I'm so grateful. An artist called Lee Wildish wanted to illustrate it and he did such a phenomenal job. He's already a New York Times bestseller and so I'm so excited to finally get a physical copy and see how it connects into all the homes that it goes into.
It sounds enchanting, and even that you would use the word "wee rowboat" makes me that much more excited to read it. So
yes,
sweet.
All those little bits of Irish twang are in there.
Yes, that's
Beautiful.
wonderful.
I'm so
Yes.
excited.
Me too.
Yeah.
Okay, 3 children, touring as an artist, writing a children's book, a kids ministry. We talk with a lot of moms about mom guilt and just would love to ask you, like, how have you found balance and navigated different decisions? And what encouragement would you even offer to moms who are trying to do a lot of things?
Yes, it is a lot. And it's so funny that you asked that question because when we were on the road, we've taken a break from the road for a little while. Because of that very thing. Because what I realized was happening when people would ask me on the road, how do you balance your life? And I would simply say, I don't. We're all in. Like the kids are here. I'm homeschooling during the day. I'm getting ready for the shows. I'm making sure they're fed. I'm, doing all things, getting ready, doing a full show, coming off stage. It was a lot. And I would say I didn't have balance in my life
Or sleep, probably.
Or sleep. Yes, there was
I
a
don't know how you
season where
slept.
I thought a year was double the length of time because I didn't sleep at all.
Goodness.
Wow,
And,
Allie.
it was really, really hard and really exhausting, but yet you were still having to get up and lead worship. And I also felt like I had to show I had it together. Look, I'm in this Christian worship band and I've got 3 beautiful children and I'm here with my husband and we're touring and everything's amazing. When inside I was going, I'm so exhausted. And so what I would say is that you do sometimes have to make those hard choices that you have to say, you know what, I can't do it all. And I wasn't meant to do it all.
Yes.
And that's okay. And so to take a break and to step back and realize, you know what, this is what I need to prioritize at this time. And this is what I need to prioritize at this time. I can't keep it all balanced at once because either things stay up, but then you crumble inside or things begin to fall. And so
It's a beautiful way to say that.
it was just really important for us to like learn to say when to give and when to take and when to make those wise decisions. But those decisions can be hard and you feel like you're letting people down. You could feel like you're letting God down, the church down, but you have to understand there's seasons and there's times and there's rhythms, and that's okay to allow yourself the grace to have what you need in that moment. So,
And that your kids are going to be okay.
and your kids are
if
going to
you
be
miss
okay.
a
Absolutely.
practice or a
Yeah,
whatever.
and that was honestly one of the big things for me. People often, not to be braggy, but people ask me all the time about my kids because they're perfect. No, but just and like how their behavior is so good or that. And it's, I think it is just a closeness, like being close with your kids and having open discussions with them and listening to them and trying to be like showing them like you are such a priority, but you're not the be all and end all. That was the biggest thing that I feel my kids learned on the road was that life does not revolve around you. Sorry. There's
Thank
a whole
you.
community
Yes.
here. We all have to work together. And sometimes we thought this was happening, but plans had to change. American Airlines didn't come through. So we have to go this way and we're going this route. And that was something that they really learned, that was you go with the flow and that's okay, because we're still together. That's the main priority, is the community and what we're doing and the mission and all of that. So I really appreciate that that lesson that they were able to learn from growing up in
Beautiful.
community, for sure.
Yes. Well, as therapists who work with kids, I mean, we would both say what a phenomenal lesson for them. And,
Indeed.
we're seeing such a prevalence of anxiety among kids right now. And anxious kids have a very hard time being flexible. And your life built in this flexibility that even if they were
Yes.
pushing back against it, it's still
Yeah.
so good for them.
Absolutely. And I
Yes.
feel communication is huge for them. Even if what you're saying is, I'm not sure right now, but as soon as I know, I'm going to let you know. I will keep
Yes.
you updated. Like that's, I feel, rather than being like, oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. When your kid's going, but I'm worried about it. I need like someone tell me something.
Yes.
Where we always try to keep a real open, honest conversation with our kids at all times as much as we can.
So great.
So
Well, so we have a lot of families who listen who are homeschooling their kids, and you were bus schooling your kids, and now we're
Yes.
homeschooling.
I actually put them in school this year for the first time. And yes, so this has been the first change for us, but they were homeschooled up until last August. Yes.
What was
And now
that?
they're so much smarter.
What was
No,
that
yes.
like for you? What encouragement would you give to parents who are
Gosh.
embarking on that now or in the midst of it?
Parents who are homeschooling, wow, you are incredible. And I always felt terrible because I didn't choose to homeschool. I had to because I didn't want to get arrested.
Lifestyle.
Didn't want to be taken away. So anytime, I was around other homeschooling parents, and, I would look at them and go, oh, you're doing such an amazing job. I feel like I'm just like, oh, we're learning this today. We're learning music again. But it's really hard. I feel like one of the things that wasn't really explained to me was how hard it was going to be. I expected that when I would sit with my son and do a lesson, he would go, thanks, Mom. That was an amazing lesson today. I just want you to know I appreciate you and all the effort you put in. Instead, it was, sit down, come back here. You have to pick up your pen. It was a real struggle. And I felt like it was particularly hard for us, not as an excuse, but, when you're on the road, there's a lot of people and a lot of moving parts.
Yes.
So we were trying to homeschool, and you'd maybe have production guys coming in with lights, and your kids are woo, or other band members. Can we play? Can we chat? And you're going, oh. So I find it really, really tricky and hard to do. But having those moments of watching your kids learn a new skill, or even the development of reading, gosh, what a moment. And to be able to be there with them, and that was like
I bet.
so amazing. Or
Yes.
to have the flexibility to, well, today we'll learn at the park, or we'll learn at the zoo, or we'll learn, I miss that all the time. And I'm sure we'll go back to it really soon, but it was it's hard work. It's hard going, and I didn't realize the amount of organizing and all the stuff you try and put into it. And I'm probably too much of a stressful person to to really do it well, because I'm like, you need to learn something. I kind of got to that stage, when the kids were young. It was like, oh, it's fine, you naturally learn. We'll go pick daisies and we'll count them. Woo. Or then when my 8-year-old was still like struggling with reading, I was like, oh, okay, we gotta get onto this.
Yes.
But they've transitioned really well into school, and are loving that, and I'm enjoying the
Good.
break for sure.
Yes.
But it's hard going for sure.
Great to hear. Thank you.
And it is obvious both in your work and I think just to experience you as a person, how deeply you desire to encourage people. And we are sitting with more parents who feel discouraged and
Yes.
I think hopeless than ever before in all the years of our work. Like, what encouragement would you offer to parents?
Yeah. I think one of the big things, particularly the past few years, has really brought in is isolation.
Yes.
And when you feel isolated as a parent, it makes it really hard, because you're going, all you're doing then is you're at home and you're seeing what's visible online or on social media, and what happens is you start comparing. You compare yourself. All you see is what you're not doing, how you're not enough, how no one else is struggling like you, and you're not getting the actual truth because you're not living in like that community. And so my encouragement would be to like really develop a community around you where there'd be people who are different and you get to see things, you get to experience things differently, but you realize you're not alone. And that there's people in the struggle the same. That it's funny, as soon as you start talking to somebody, you're going, oh, your kid's not sleeping either? Oh, thank goodness.
Yes.
And it's because there is, as soon as something happens, you instantly feel like this is just me. And also, this is it forever. My kid's never going to sleep, or my kid's never going to eat avocado, or my kid's never going to do this. And I think really what was really helpful for me, and I would really encourage, is like get people around you and get into moms groups or get into church or community where your children get to experience what other adults are like and what other kids are like, and you realize you're not alone. We're all trying to figure it out together. We're all trying to make all these decisions. I think that was one of the huge things I discovered about parenthood. It was like, parenthood is all about just making decisions all the time, all day long. As a mother, you're just, what are we eating? Where are we going? What time's nap? What schedule? What should I be doing? What when you're going, it's exhausting. It's really, really hard. And just to know, like, if you've got people that you can talk to, that's huge. People that you can call, people that you can get around. And just to remind yourself that you are enough, that you're in the right place at the right time with the right little ones. And who you are is enough for them. Yes. And just let them see who you are. Let them experience who you are. Don't hide yourself from your kids. And you'll be okay.
Yes. Such a beautiful reminder.
Yeah.
Along those lines, I mean, you just gave some great parenting advice. What would you say is the best parenting advice anyone ever said to you?
Gosh. The best one I probably got, which I eventually did, was ask for help. I feel particularly for mothers, you have this pressure of you have it all together.
Yes.
And you don't drop any balls. You're on your emails. You're on this. Your kids are dressed. Your kids look good. They're eating healthy. They're at all their activities. And it's impossible. It really is. I feel like there is a real thing about it takes a village. And so for a long time, I really struggled to ask for help, to ask, can you watch my kids? Or can my kid ride with you here? Because I just can't physically be there. And admitting that it's not a weakness. It's not weak to ask for help. It's actually a sign of strength. And so, that was my number one advice that I eventually took, of going, you know what? This is not about me. This is not about what I'm lacking. This is about how can I best do what I need to do. And so ask for help.
So good.
Wonderful advice. Wonderful. Okay, we have one last question, but before we do, where can folks find and follow your work?
Yes, so there's Gilkeson.com, which has got my website with where you can buy the book and see the music videos and get the music and all the things. Social media, Ali Gilk. I am so technologically not there, but I'm trying.
We're with you.
There's rencokids.com as well. You'll find everything you need on there too. So, but yeah, I'm so excited for
Can't wait
this
to do
book
all
to
the
get into
reading
his
and
hands.
listening. I know.
Yes. I know.
All
I
of
just
it makes me
recorded
so
the
excited.
audiobook yesterday.
Oh, I'm so glad you did.
Me too.
And it was so
Your
funny
voice.
because I'm going, do I say house or house? House? Like, which one should I do?
I bet.
You know?
Oh, that's so great.
Great.
So good. So I'm
Love
very
that.
excited.
Thank you.
Thank
We
you.
will link to all those places. We'll link to every one of those. I'm
Okay,
just
thank
excited for folks to find more of your work. Now, we end with something fun and food related. So we've got a
I love
two-part
food.
question.
Love food. I love fun.
All right.
I'd be curious about the Irish
I am
perspective
too.
on this.
I am too.
Okay.
Queso or guac is the first part. And second part of the question is, what's your favorite taco?
Oh, gosh. So it's obviously going to be queso because cheese.
Yes.
Everyone loves cheese.
Yes.
I mean, coming from the land of there's cows everywhere. Cows. Cows. We're I always say I'm not lactose intolerant. I'm like, only eat lactose. That's all I do. My daughter's the same. So anytime there's melted cheese, we're going to be in. And the second was my favorite taco right now actually is the shrimp taco. It really is. There's a wee place off Nolensville Pike, a little like food truck. I don't know the name now.
Oh,
But
that's great
their
to
shrimp
know.
tacos are fantastic.
Wow.
So good.
Have to drive down that way.
Yes,
Yes.
we will.
Yes, go get yourself a
Wow.
good shrimp taco.
Allie, I could listen to you all day, not just because your voice, which I love your accent, but also just so much real, honest truth that just so grateful for you to share with us today.
I'm so glad to be here. It's so wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for coming, and we're so excited about this book.
Okay, thank you.
David, what a team we have that we get to call friends who help make this podcast possible.
Amanda Young, our operations manager.
Chris Starrett, our engineer and producer.
Our management team at KCH.
And we are thrilled to be a part of the That Sounds Fun network.
Our music was created by the insanely talented Dave Haywood of Lady A.
And if this podcast felt helpful to you, please consider subscribing, liking, sharing, all the things.
We are grateful for you and cheering you on always.